Mercury, the planetary messenger, enters Pisces Friday, February 14th, and he's in a romantic mood and he wants a drink. Hello, my name is Eliane Nicole. I'm your astrologer and tarot reader, and in this video I'm going to talk about what it means when Mercury, the planet who governs our communications, which is really everything about life when you really break it down, enters Pisces, where he was thought or said by the ancients to be in his detriment or debilitated. But I think there's a lot of really amazing, beautiful, wonderful things about Mercury and Pisces too, which I'm also going to talk about in this video. But first, I want to say if you're watching this on Instagram, I'm only going to post the first 3 minutes here. The entire video will be available on my YouTube channel, Eliane Nicole. My YouTube channel is my name, Eliane Nicole. Please find me there. I will put a link in the profile bio of Instagram to get to the YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Please hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. Please like, please comment, please share. It helps me in the algorithm and to grow my business and my community and my channel, and puts me in a position to continue to give these free astrological offerings. If you are watching this on Instagram, please make sure that you are following astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole. Please like, please comment, please share. Again, it's free for you and very helpful to me. And now, without further ado, Mercury in Pisces. So I want to talk a little bit about the positive traits of this aspect, and then I want to talk about why it's not necessarily where Mercury has the easiest time, and I want to talk a little bit about how it affects people in a personal context versus how it might appear on the world stage. Now, the reason I said Mercury has entered Pisces and he wants a drink is that, you know, Mercury in Pisces likes to drink. This is definitely a transit where people are going to be drawn towards being in an intoxicated state. It's a very intoxicating kind of transit where people want to drink or get high, or people escape in different ways. Some people do it through, you know, food. Other people do it through sex. Some people do it by shopping and spending money. You know, some people do it by binge watching. Like, there's different ways that people have of checking out. And when Mercury's in Pisces, you can really see people feeling drawn towards doing that. And again, it can be binging on drugs and alcohol, or, you know, Netflix and Hulu. It can be, you know, eating too many donuts, or, like, you know, just spending too much money on Amazon. Like, it can run the gamut of, like, overindulgence, overdoing in the name of, like, checking out of reality kind of stuff. So there's a lot of that going on, and you just might notice, like, even if it's not affecting you personally, you might just notice when you're out and about in the world, you know, at the coffee shop, at the bank, at the market, in traffic, whatever, that people are a little spaced out. Because Mercury in Pisces is a little out of it, a little checked out. And again, that's not to say that all people born with Mercury in Pisces are a little bit checked out, but they can be. They can be. It's definitely more of a creative Mercury, you know? It's like Mercury in Pisces is great for painting or composing music, you know, like choreography and dance. And, you know, Mercury in Pisces is good for working with metaphor. You know, it's a metaphorical thinker. It's a metaphorical communicator, really, which can be really beautiful when it comes to art. But maybe if you're in a personal relationship with someone who's being a creative communicator, that feels more like lying. You know what I mean? So there's a time and a place for Mercury in Pisces. There's, you know, there's a way to wield that energy positively, and then there's a way that that energy can be, you know, experienced that is on the lower vibrational side as well. So, I talked about the creative aspects because I want to talk about the good stuff first, because I don't want to be like the negative Nelly, Debbie the Downer astrologer. Another great thing about Mercury in Pisces is it's very psychic, very tuned into the other realms, and this is great for clairvoyant work, or for getting readings, or doing any kind of communication with the other realms. And then there's also the aspect of Pisces that is very good with, medicine, and it, it's healing. And we love that it's very compassionate and very empathetic, Mercury in Pisces. Very, very sensitive. And so we appreciate all of those things. Again, with the working with the metaphors, so poetic. Such a great transit for writing poetry, which is nice. It comes in on Valentine's Day, that's nice for sweet words and sweet exchanges on February 14th. But there is the shadow side of Mercury in Pisces. There are the reasons why Mercury in Pisces is said to be Mercury in its detriment, and that's because Mercury is normally ruled by, at home and exalted in Virgo, so he's in its detriment and in his fall in Pisces. And that's because Mercury is very detail-oriented and all about the facts and the data. And Pisces is more like, whatever on the details, more into the big picture, more into the vision, more into seeing what could go right instead of what could go wrong, which is Virgo always wants to talk about everything that could go wrong, right? And so there's some tension in that Mercury in Pisces. So, it can be thought of as a liar or somebody who embellishes the truth. It can be like the catfish aspect, where somebody's pretending to be someone they're not. It can be running scams, illusions, delusion. It can be deceptive, but it can also just be spaced out. It can be checked out of reality. Just daydreaming or in another world, sometimes there can be feelings of depression or suicidal ideation, unfortunately, with Mercury in Pisces. But, a lot of great art can be created with Mercury in Pisces. A lot of great writers and musicians have that placement, painters, and what else did I want to say about Mercury in Pisces? I mean, this particular year of Mercury in Pisces is really important too, because, Mercury is going to be meeting up with everybody in Pisces. So that's Saturn and the North Node, but that also means an interaction with the South Node. And he'll also be interacting with Uranus, who's out there in those late degrees of Taurus, even though that's a sextile. But I'm just saying, this Mercury, there's a lot of new information coming in. We're learning a lot. We're being downloaded with a lot of information. I believe that a lot is coming from the other side, from the other worldly realms. And if you can open yourself up to receive these messages, a lot will come through for you at this time. It's a great time to pay special attention to your dreams. I think Mercury in Pisces will be having very vivid dreams, especially as he comes into contact with the North Node and Neptune, around the first 2 days of March 1st and 2nd. This is very dreamy. It can be delusional. It can be high or intoxicated, but it can also be very spiritual and very transcendental and very divinely connected and, So depending on where you are, what station you're tuned into for this new Aquarian era we've entered, the experience can run the gamut on the scale, but you see that there is a through line, which is, you know, there's the side that's very like musical and image oriented, you know, but then there's the side that's medicinal and healing oriented. There's the side that can be more deceptive and illusory. Neptune is also very glamorous. Well, Neptune, and we're not at the Neptune. I'm talking about this Mercury is going to be conjoining Neptune. So there will be a very Neptunian moment in the beginning of March again, which can be very glamorous, but like on a surface level, but what's beneath the surface? There is a lot of depth there, but for some reason, you know, Neptune is kind of creating a fog in the whole Pisces sector of our charts. So everything in the environment cannot be seen right now. You know, there are some important hazards, or even like people or possible roads that we can take that are obscured from view in the fog that's rested over this Pisces house in our charts. And it's a different house for different people. Anyway, so yeah, as Mercury enters Pisces, we're entering the Pisces whirlpool of 2025, of March 2025. It's a whirlpool, and you know, Mercury coming into Pisces, he wants a drink. He wants to get drunk. He wants to escape reality. But he's very poetic. Now, what did I want to say? On February 20th, he's squaring Jupiter in Gemini. This could be a con man, a con game. This can be false promotion. It could also just be a very controversial announcement. That's a big announcement in the media. And in our personal lives, it can be, it can have to do with siblings or possibly neighbors, you know, depending on what, you know, it can be students, it can be around schools or education, you know, but yeah, it's a big media day for sure that day. It looks like a proliferation of information that is being released, but that will probably cause a lot of confusion. On February 23rd, he's trine Mars in Cancer at 17 degrees. And so I love this aspect for, you know, it's showing that there may be some challenging family issues going on or country issues going on, but that there is a lot of like empathy and compassion and generosity being exchanged between people. That there's like a sense of sympathy and soulfulness and of like joining forces in very empowering ways during times of trouble. You know, people advocating for families and children and mothers and women, and you know, so even though the circumstances may be less than ideal, there's a lot of beauty and good that's coming out of it. You also see really beautiful, you know, contributions in the arts. It's like you see there's this laser focus to you know, to bring something into manifest when you have, well, you know, I was talking about Mercury trine Mars in Cancer, but I was also thinking about the Saturn trine to Mars in Cancer as I was thinking about that, because it all goes together, this whole relationship between Mars and Cancer and his debilitation, where he's struggling with issues around family or mothers or the home, security, safety, you know, privacy. You know, those are all Mars and Cancer's type of issues. But yeah, you know, basically the relationship to everything going on in Pisces is a very healing and imaginative one, you know, despite the challenges that are being dealt with in that Cancer sector of our chart. Yeah, there's like a mystical, otherworldly, divine intervention from the Pisces sector of our chart on those topics. So that's nice. Now on the 25, he's conjunct Saturn. Oh, and so I was just kind of talking about the Saturn Mars is very, or the Saturn Mercury. This is a serious conversation. This is making a serious commitment, having a serious conversation that has long-term ramifications. But that's why it's interesting that Mercury is in Pisces, because it's almost like this conversation needs to be had, or maybe this contract needs to be signed, or something very serious needs to be happening that has long-term repercussions. But Mercury is impaired, so it's not the best time for him to be making this decision, because there's either something that's obscured from his view that he can't see that would maybe be making him not want to make the decision, or he's not paying attention to all of the details, or he's spaced out or checked out, or, you know, he's drunk, he's inebriated. Something is going on where Mercury, it's not the optimum time to sign the contract or have the conversation, but he still has to anyway. So that's like that kind of thing happening in the transit. I guess if possible, try not to get in too deep. Try not to get into something that you can't get yourself out of. In this little, what pocket is that? That would be around February 25th. And then on the 27th, there's a pleasant surprise, maybe a return on an investment that was made, maybe a wonderful creative opportunity, financial opportunity, you know, something, opportunity to be somewhere beautiful in nature, perhaps, something, you know, a great meal, a luxury comfort of some kind. It looks like there's an opportunity to indulge. That's a nice little escape, a pleasant escape, potentially on the 27th for Mercury and Pisces, who's always looking for a great escape. It looks like Uranus and Taurus is going to provide him with just the diversion path he needs on February 27th. And then on the 28th, Mercury enters pre-shadow for retrograde, meaning that he will be returning to that point. So everything from February 28th on until March 14th, we will be going back over again. But that's another video for another time. I'm going to come back to that. March 3rd, he's conjunct the North Node. You know, hungry for something, hungry to fill that hole, that God-shaped hole, you know. So, you know, on the 2nd, conjunct Neptune, you know, there's so much like just mystical and spiritual energy here, a lot about connecting with the divine, connecting with our dream world, connecting with other realms of existence besides just what we can see and feel and hear and touch with our, you know, 5 senses. we're going beyond. We are going beyond. This is a time where we are at the precipice of the beyond becoming very normal and mainstream and accepted, but we haven't lived that way yet, and so we're on the precipice of it. It's like a balloon, a big water balloon that's about to burst, you know, but it hasn't burst quite yet, but we can feel it. It's filled to the brim, you know, and that's kind of what this March in Pisces, this March moment is like. You know, the eclipses might be when the balloon actually pops. It might pop at one of these eclipses we've got coming up. But again, those are another video for another time. I just wanted to stop in and talk about Mercury in Pisces from February 14th, basically until, you know, he'll enter Aries March 3rd. And I'll come back with another video because that's more when I'm going to start talking about the retrograde season. But just know that once February 28th hits, we are in the pre-shadow of Mercury retrograde. So we will be going over that terrain again in terms of scheduling and conversations, emails, contract negotiations, you know, losing things, finding things, all of the stuff that goes on. Gosh, I did such a weird framing of this video. Like my head is in the middle. I don't know. Anyway, at least I got it done. I might record it again. If you would like to buy me a coffee or a tea to thank me for this video, I will put a link below in the description of how to make a donation on Venmo. If you would like to book a reading with me, I will have a link in the description to book a reading on my site, or you can email me to book a reading. I read on Zoom, so I can read for people anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. I would love to read for you. Astrology works best when you're working one-on-one with an astrologer, and that is absolutely my forte, and I think you would get a lot out of it. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me. Mercury in Pisces. Have fun.